for the younger generation, on the foundation, for the younger generation, on the foundation, for the younger generation, on the foundation, for the younger generation, for the younger generation.
Hi ho, hello, beautiful listeners of Youth Drive. I welcome you all on board this wonderful program produced by Youth for Youth. We are here to give you another interesting show on the Foundation Radio, brought to you by the volunteers of Youth Outreach Program Cameroon. Last week, the Youth Drive team continued with our series on the Rio Plus 20 themes with the topic food insecurity. Today we are talking about another theme of Rio Plus 20, which is jobs. That made us focus on unemployment in Cameroon as our topic of discussion during this 1 hour. I am called Francie. I'm your host and presenter today, and we are honored to have a powerful resource person in our house today. And sitting next to me is my friend and colleague, Erico.
Hello everyone, welcome to You Drive on the Foundation Radio. We have lots of interesting information for you. So I'm telling you right now to stay tuned and don't go away.
Youth Drive is an amazing platform for youth to be empowered and to be interactive. I will like to put you in a good mood with our first musical piece from Flow Rider entitled Good Feeling.
Sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah.
Dear listeners, that was a good feeling by Flow Rider. So our show is enriched today by another interesting resource person. Madame, would you be so kind to introduce yourself to the listeners briefly?
Oh, thank you very much, Francie and Eric. I'm Madame Loco Suzanne Bella, the Chief of Section for Intermediation with the National Employment Fund. I'm also an employment counselor. Thank you.
So, Eric, we are talking about unemployment today. I know that unemployment means to be in the situation of searching for a job, right? So, am I unemployed right now because I'm waiting for my university place? Or am I unemployed because I'm volunteering? For an example, is volunteering means that to be unemployed because I don't get money?
That's a tricky question, but I would just like to say that unemployment, to me, it's a situation in a given country where people who are qualified and are willing and able to work and able to get a job, which means that a person in this situation is now considered to be unemployed. You are willing, you are able, you're qualified, and you cannot get a job, then it means that you're unemployed. And so, but people, and then on the other hand, people who are not willing, or are not able for some other reasons and don't want to work, So we cannot say they are people who are searching for a job. And so they are called, in a term, they can be called, they are economically active. Okay. So they are not looking for a job. And they don't count in the employment figures when you want to classify people who are unemployed. They don't classify such people. Then the high levels of unemployment is usually typical of a struggling economy in a case where labor supply, is outweighing the demand from employers. And so in this case now, there is a higher rate of unemployment, and it's a clear indication that a country is not utilizing its resources in the best possible way to, provide jobs to the citizens of the country.
Okay, good. Thank you. Madame Loco, we are pleased to have you here today. You have worked with a lot of young people who are searching for jobs in Cameroon. So some are highly qualified, some have a completed vocational training, but they can't find jobs here. So what are the reasons for this high rate of qualified but unemployed young people?
Oh, actually, what I always tell the youths or the job seekers, they need to know that at the end of their course, they're a finished product. You must know how to satisfy your clients, who is the employer. the most problem with the youth face is that they are not dynamic. You know, they don't have confidence of themselves. You know, they don't know how to go about in their job hunting. We always tell them that you are the principal actor. We are there, for example, the National Employment is there to just accompany you. We give you the tools, but you are the principal actor. Most of them, after their studies, they just like, you know, stay back home. They are always thinking that I don't have a godfather. We don't have people to, but what are the actions you've done? There are certain things you need to know. So that is just the main problem that most youths face in Cameroon. They don't know their value. They don't know how to sell themselves. They don't know how to carry themselves. They don't know how to go about in looking or in their job hunting. I think that's one of the major problems they face in Cameroon.
Okay.
All right. That was quite a lot for me, madam. And just another question.
Yeah.
Now, I realize that many young people who leave high school and they don't want to continue with the university, maybe because they're afraid they won't get a job since they're qualified. I'm just curious to know, is there something wrong with our educational system?
I think no, but another problem is there's poor orientation.
Okay.
Yeah, we have that problem, poor orientation. Most children, they do what they are being forced by their parents. You know, they don't give them good orientation. But nowadays we have employment counselors in schools.
Yeah.
So they help to groom up the candidates. You know, so I think in the nearest future that will not be a major problem again.
All right. Because I talked to some young people and they were like, we are doing just general education, and when we go out there looking for a job, we have history, geography, and they don't really look at us. So it's really a problem. I talk to a lot of young people about it, but
that's professionalism.
All right.
That's the problem. That's a major problem. But the National Employment Fund is there. We have a service. We call it vocational training.
Okay.
Most of those candidates, when we receive them, we realize that they are not, or they don't have any profession. They don't have any skills. So we send them for a training. You know, so and we have the types of training. We have the formal and the informal. When we train them, which is free, of course. Now they can face the job market.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Francie, I would like us to talk about this qualification, those who are qualified and those who are
willing, but they can't find a job.
And those who are doing, because not everybody goes to school in order to be employed. Some are learning a trade. So what do you think let's look at the advantages of going to school and learning a trade.
Yeah, there are many ways to make yourself attractive to the job market. And so what is the best qualification to get a job here when we're just talking about Bamenda or the Northwest region? I think the advantages of learning a trade or going to school, there are a lot of advantages on both sides, and they're obvious. So when you go to school, you have an access to higher education.
Sure.
When you learn a trade, you can earn money. So I think that's maybe the biggest difference, or the first thing people are thinking when they have to decide, or young people. And the problem is that school can cost you a lot of money, and maybe you won't get a job after school, so you have to investigate a lot of money, and so I think that's a problem.
Yeah, but if I can add something, those who are doing learning a trade, they also pay money because they are called apprentices. So they have to pay money for the employer to learn the trade properly.
Yes.
And then after, because it's like a kind of informal learning.
Yes.
Yeah. And the other one is going to school. But I don't think there's much there's a problem, because it's okay. But because not everybody is good for school.
Yes, definitely.
Some people are business-minded, while others must go to school to achieve their dreams, the highest level.
So it depends on your own way of learning.
Yeah.
If technical things are coming naturally to you rather than reading long texts, you will better be a mechanic.
Yeah, and then most employers, no matter your qualification, they are looking for just one word: the skills.
Yes.
What can you do?
Yes.
Don't come and tell them that you have a doctorate degree. They want to see what you can do.
Yes.
So if you are learning a trade or you are going to school, the end product, like Madam said, is your skills. What can you do? So
I think you're getting different. You're gaining different skills.
Yeah.
When you go to school, you learn the abstract thinking.
Mhm.
I mean,
Theory.
you learn theory. You learn how to analyze texts. You learn a sophisticated approach to language. You learn maybe different languages.
Sure.
When you learn a trade, when you're learning by doing, you get, we call them hand-on experiences
Mhm.
or practical know-how.
Sure. You're
And
correct.
I think it depends on the region or the field where you're searching for a job.
You're absolutely right.
Yes. So, Madame Luco, what do you think? What is more advisable for young people here? Could you say it's in Bamenda? What is the better direction?
Oh, that is looking for going into the trade or what?
Yes. Yeah.
Is mostly encourage young. The two is good.
Yeah.
You know, learning a trade and going to school is a good thing. But what I always encourage, when you're going to school, there must be something, there must be a backing.
Sure.
After that school, what will you do?
Yes. Yeah.
Because that's a major problem.
Mhm.
It's good to do something which is professional.
Sure.
Yes.
When you come back, you're ripe in the field. For example, I want to give an example. Somebody with a CAP, a cap, in a motor mechanic,
Mhm.
and somebody with first O levels,
Sure.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
The person with cap will pick up a job.
Yeah, you can't compare because the person with the cap has the skills.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Professional.
And that's what the employer is
Looking for.
not the grammar or whatever,
Yeah.
What will you put in that enterprise for it to grow?
Yeah.
So that's the major problem,
Oh,
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you very much,
Yeah.
and you are absolutely right.
Yes.
Dear friends of You Drive, we have been talking small, and we'll be talking a lot as the program unfolds. And I would like to bring a break into this studio. Let's listen to some good music. I would like to invite this group called the Black Eyed Peas, and they will be singing for us Hey Mama. Enjoy yourself, and You Drive continues after the musical break.
Mama, we a blast master, blast in a pajama.
Youth Outreach Program Cameroon.
Founded in 1993 as a youth association,
Started functioning in 1995 and strongly committed to working with young people.
Fighting poverty and inequalities in their communities.
Our visions.
we seek a Cameroon where all young people
Contribute to the development of their communities.
Gain and share valuable skills vital for adulthood.
Live healthy lifestyles.
Have equal opportunities.
Our mission.
Empower young people with skills needed to make informed decisions.
Thus creating a better society where they are healthy,
Responsible
and actively involved in the development process.
youth outreach program.
Developing skills.
enhancing capacity.
Building the future.
You drive on the foundation
You drive.
for the younger generation.
Welcome back to You Drive from the Foundation Radio. You were listening to that lyrical piece called Hey Mama by this group Black Eyed Peas, and shortly after that you heard our Yop Slot jingle. Dear friends, our weekly edition of You Drive conveys some issues of prime concern, such as the Rio Plus 20 Summit on Sustainable Development, and it is brought to you by Youth Outreach Program in great partnership with the Foundation Radio. Just as a reminder to our dear listeners, our topic for today is on unemployment in Cameroon, which is one of the major themes that will be discussed at the Rio Plus 20 Summit taking place in Brazil this year in June. And now, Madam, to you, we realize that the job situation, the biggest problem in Cameroon, in Bamenda, facing young people is that of unemployment. So, what can you tell us? How can this situation be looked into? I just want you to give us a picture of this job situation in this region.
Eric, believe me, the unemployment situation in Bamenda is really bad.
Okay.
We have a lot of unemployed in the region. But what the statistics have shown that most employers, they want professionals.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They want people who can put in something into the enterprise for the growth of that enterprise.
Yeah.
But when we realize that most of the graduates they don't have any skills.
Sure.
You know, so by the time they go and look for a job, the employer begins to ask them, "What can you do? What can you?" So they don't know how they can sell themselves. It's not their fault because of poor orientation.
Sure.
You know, so what I can say is encourage almost the younger generation to go into professionalism.
Yeah.
Do something which you can come out, you know, and sell yourself.
Sell yourself.
Yeah.
It's really important.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Madame Loka, I know already that the government here in Cameroon is the biggest employer. So, can young people still find jobs in the private sector here in Cameroon? Good jobs.
Oh yeah. We have good opportunities in the private sector, believe me, not only the government, you know. So people should not always sit and say that their main problem is I don't have a godfather. You know, I don't have a godfather. But if you know your value and if you know your worth, if you have the skills, believe me, you pick up the job without any godfatherism.
And you can build something up for yourself. You don't have to be employed by the government.
Sure.
You have to be creative.
With the National Employment Fund, we encourage self-employment. Don't depend on the government. The government cannot employ everybody.
That's for sure.
You know. So come up with something. Even this year, what we call beignet, pop-off and beans. Come up with a project, bring it to the National Employment Fund. We're going to finance it. And now you'll be self-employed. But maybe when you started, you were selling by 5,000. In next 5 months, you're selling. You need somebody to sell for you, and that is employment. And that is the mission of the National Employment Fund, to promote and to increase employment. So don't depend on the government, please.
And you need a good approach to money, right? That's important.
Yep.
Okay. So I want to talk to Eric. Eric, let us talk about difficulties that young people are facing who are willing and qualified and able to work. So we're talking about people who are highly motivated or maybe highly qualified or both.
Sure.
So last year, a neurosurgeon applied for an administrative position in my organization that sent me to Cameroon. She has a background in the medical field and wants to work as an administrator in this German organization instead of working in a hospital. I mean, she has the highest qualification in the medical field. She's a neurosurgeon.
Yeah.
She was simply overqualified. Why can't she find an employment in the field where she studied? Why not in Cameroon? Why are people going abroad? They are high qualified and they can't find a job here in Cameroon.
All right.
I know that's a very hard question.
No, that's a good one. Frankly, I will say that there are some job domains in Cameroon. There are the training, right? But the job market is not available in Cameroon. So a neurosurgeon is a high qualified person. I mean, in terms of the school fees, in terms of the years of studying. But you see, there is this concept of stepping stones. Now, if they are in a situation and they can't really go to where, they can't find themselves to work where they were trained to be, there's something called stepping stone. And in this case now, she went to the German government to work as an administrator. Of course, that's something she did not do in school. But now she's using this as a stepping stone to work and prepare herself. And of course, she's still thinking about her future of becoming the neurosurgeon. And again, some people, they have a very bad mentality. I'm sorry to say this. When they go maybe to a hospital that needs their services, and they are thinking about the pay. If the pay is very minimal, and the employer decides to say, okay, we'll start you as maybe a nurse, but I'm a neurosurgeon. I've spent a lot of years working.
Oh God.
And they feel so bad and pissed off. So that's some of the reasons.
So does Cameroon not have enough money to keep the high qualified and motivated youth in their country? I mean, the bright minds? Is that the problem? Is money the problem?
No, money is not the problem at all. You know, Cameroon is endowed with a lot of resources. We have a lot of resources here. And I tell you that young people there are many young, bright, intelligent young people in Cameroon. And it saddens me because if you browse through our streets, you will find out that there are many of them who have qualifications, masters, degrees, but they are parading the street looking for jobs. And so this is a problem, because there's this element called tribalism.
I've heard about it.
Yeah, tribalism is a case where somebody who is qualified to work and goes to an institution, and the employer simply turns down his application because he does not. This job seeker doesn't come from his ethnic group. So that is one of the causes. And so this really drives young people crazy, And abroad, like we call it, abroad, what the most international organizations want, like Madame Loco was earlier saying, they want people with skills. They want people who are motivated. And so when these young people quickly get the information about somebody looking for their similar services, they take the opportunity. But the Cameroonian government have a lot of resources to keep these young people here. Yeah, we do. It's not lack of money.
Yeah.
Sure.
Cameroon has more than 500 tribes. So is tribalism somehow rooted in our culture? Are we talking about the issue of doing a favor to somebody in your family? What aspects of behavior do people of this country have to change? I don't know. Maybe we could discuss about it. And I don't know, could they ever change it? Because I know the culture is different.
Yeah.
And if somebody from your family is asking you for a favor, how are you acting? In days of globalization, Cameroon does still allow itself to put relatives in important position.
Yeah.
And it's not the only country, I know. But is Cameroon in particular flexible enough to make a change? What do you think about it? Madame Loco?
Oh my God. Yes, honestly, we are trying to make a change, but tribalism is a major problem in a society. For example, you go to the field. Let me say my case. You want to go and look for a job offer. An employer wants to take somebody from his relative, but that person is not qualified.
It's not qualified.
And how do you want that person to make that enterprise to grow? Maybe you just want to please the person, because he is your sister or your brother.
Yeah.
But you're killing yourself because
you're killing the company.
Yeah, yourself and the company, Yes. So it's a major problem. We have to fight it. Honestly, we have to fight tribalism. But I think so far they're trying to wipe it away, because when we came to Bamenda, we had a problem. But we've been here for 2 years. Employers, they no longer want their relatives.
Yes.
They come now to the office. Hey, madam, we want somebody with this profile. We want this, and so it's a good step. They're trying.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because at first it's really saddening for young people who are highly qualified and they are going into a company to search for a job, and the reason, because most of them would like to know why. Those who are really good, they would like to know why they were not accepted in order to learn and move ahead. But they just tell them stories that doesn't make sense, and when you look deep into it, you find out it is tribalism. So frankly, I would just like to say that in Cameroon we are receptive to change, and these things can always change, and they are changing, because nobody, believe me, if you open your company, because you know me, you won't like me to come and bring it down, because you took a lot of years to put it up and hard work, and you want it to move from one height to another. So I think this mentality, it's a possibility that it can be changed.
It has to.
Yeah,
right,
it must be changed.
Well, that was a great studio talk. Thank you, Madame Loco and Eric. And now I want to refresh us with a little bit. Soul Food, the Canadian artists Fight and a man called Chaos produced a wonderful version of Fai's Musha Boom song. So enjoy and have plenty of fun.
Musha Boom.
To the beat. 1, 2. Check it out.
Helping the kids out of their coats, the way the baby's having them more. Unpacking.
I am Kelvin Gwang Shemgo.
I am Mokom Philemon.
I am Achu Sanji. I'm Mokom Nora. I'm Mokom Sharon.
I'm Youth Stoba.
I'm Mars Weidstoffen.
I'm Patience Akwenja. I'm Yvonne Frinwi Takwe.
I'm Tala Adama. Miss Mboringong Fidili.
I am Atujwe.
You are listening to Youth Drive on Foundation Radio.
That was a thrilling piece from Fires and Chaos, and that was followed by our Job slot. Jobs is a very important theme that will be discussed during the UN Summit on Sustainable Development in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And we have been talking about unemployment in Cameroon today in today's edition of the program. And I just want to recognize the fact that we have an amazing resource person from this government agency called the National Employment Fund in the person of Madame Loko Susan. And we have been talking about the private and the public sector in Cameroon as job providers. So now, Madam, I'm really curious to know, are there some actions and initiatives that young people can take in order to be self-employed?
Oh yeah, that's the service in the National Employment Fund. We have the department for which finances projects.
Okay.
So the youths can come up with their projects. We especially in the Northwest, we sponsor a lot of projects, agricultural projects.
All right.
So I will encourage the youths, come up with something, build even if the project is not good. We have counselors who are there. Bring up your project, we'll see it. If the project is feasible, we're going to finance it, and you'll be self-employed. And you can, you can have your own money. You can also create employment. So they should come up with their projects, and the National Employment Fund is there to finance it. What you actually, you're supposed to have 20% of what you are asking, okay? And then you're supposed to have somebody who stand as a surety, a guarantor.
Yeah, a guarantor.
Yeah, and the interest rate is 6% a year. So when you come up with your project, no matter the amount, okay, let's say from 1 to 5 million.
Sure.
You just write it and bring it. Then we will see what we can do. So.
Wow, that's serious. Yeah. And of course, like we were saying, because now most people are thinking that the government is the biggest employer and the private sector and companies. But now it's really important, like you told us, that the young people can also take up the initiative to be self-employed. And so all they just need to do is to come to your agency, National Employment Fund. Yeah. And where is it situated?
The National Employment Fund is situated at Old Town, adjacent to the taxation building. Right. We are in the Labour and Social Security building. You come the 7:30. We work Mondays to Fridays. Come at 7:30. With a photocopy of your ID card, your curriculum vitae, if you have one. If you don't have it, no problem. We're going to provide you one. Come with 2 passport size photo and with your photocopy of your certificates.
Sure.
Just come. Registration is free. You don't pay anything.
Sure. I hope that my friends have got that information. It's very important. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, Madame Loko, I really don't want to point somebody out, but we know that we want to have a change in this country.
Yeah.
And just to get your view, who could play a vital role in changing the unemployment situation for young people in Cameroon? What do you think? Is it the government or the medias or
the NGOs?
the NGOs? Could they give a chance to young people?
Both. The government has a major role to play. The youths themselves, they have to be dynamic. Yes. The NGOs, even the media, it's a whole package.
Yeah.
So we don't have to put the blame on one person, on the government or what. No, you, the individual, come up. Yeah. Get up from your slumber, and you face it. Be dynamic. The whole issue is dynamism. You just have to be dynamic.
Yeah, you're right. When young people stop complaining, they take back the power and they focus their energy.
Exactly.
Now, the National Employment Fund as a government agency, how can you guys help young people who are qualified, who have done some vocational training, who are willing to work to secure or to get a good job?
Oh, that's a good one. How can we help job seekers?
Sure.
The National Employment Fund, as I earlier said, is the parastatal which created 1990 to promote and increase unemployment.
All right.
You know. We have the main mission or the main goal of the National Employment Fund is to promote employment.
All right.
So how do we help these job seekers? We have three main services. We have what we call the intermediation. This is a department where we act as an intermediary between the job seeker and the employer. We bring them together.
All right.
Because most of them, they don't have confidence, they don't know how to face it. We go into the field, collect the job seekers, we receive the candidates, we orientate them, and then put them together with the employer.
All right.
Another aspect, again, I talk about vocational training. We train the job seekers so that they can have a profession.
Wow.
You earlier said something like when they graduate with geography, history, what can they do? Honestly, believe me, what can they do?
What can they do?
But we know with first degree, you can easily adapt.
Yeah.
You can find yourself anywhere, but you don't have any profession.
Yeah.
So the National Employment Fund, we train them. Those who have dropped out of school, we also train them so that they can come up and get up something. They can fit themselves into the job market.
Really
and
important.
another service is that we also sponsor projects.
Okay.
As Ella said, you come up with a project and you can pick up your job, you can be self-employed.
Okay.
So, Madam Loku, I have one last question. Is a National Employment Fund, do they give maybe scholarships for those who are really interested to go back to school and who are dropped out and want to continue school rather than working?
Can I put it in court? Not really scholarship, but we have a program we call Degree Employment Program.
Okay.
It's somehow like paid in the French. We call it Programme Emploi Diplômé.
Okay.
This is a program where we encourage job seekers, without any professional experience, to go and look for a place where they can do a training, a 12-month training. And in the course of the training, we share the indemnity with the employer.
All right.
For example, somebody with first degree and you don't have any working experience, when you get to that enterprise, if they accept to take you, we are going to pay 50%. That is 50,000 francs, and the employer is supposed to pay you 50,000 francs plus 25,000 as an allowance. So at the end of the month, you're supposed to have 125,000 francs. And at the end of the training, if the employer recruits you, which that's a desire, we're going to pay no matter the salary, no matter the amount, we're going to assist him for the first 3 months. So it's somehow like a scholarship. But in the other sense, like send the candidate to go and do in a school, no, we don't do that. We can train you if the employer needs somebody with this qualification, with a certain qualification.
All right.
We can train the candidates, and we're the one to take care of that. You don't pay.
That is beautiful.
Okay, good. So I'm just asking you my last question for you.
Yes,
for some, for maybe 3 skills that a young person needs in order to find a job.
Yeah.
Or to secure his own job.
Yeah. What are some of those good tips?
Just skills.
What are some of the good tips? Is that what you mean? The tips of how to secure?
Give me tips about skills. Yes.
Tips on how to secure a job.
Correct.
Oh, you need to know yourself.
Okay.
That is the first thing. You need to know yourself. You need to know that you are a finished product. You need to satisfy your clients. Another aspect is, how do you know yourself? You must know what you've learned, what can you do, what are your training, what are your professional experience, in knowing yourself. And another aspect in knowing yourself is, do you have any preference in your activities? All englobes in knowing yourself. Yeah. Another good tips to secure a job is elaborating a good curriculum vitae.
Correct.
If you don't have a curriculum vitae, forget it, because that's the document which sells you in the absence of the when you drop the CV there, the document is there to sell you. So to secure a good job, you must know how to conceive a good CV. And how do you conceive a good CV? You must know that this document has to sell you, because there are so many job seekers outside there, your CV must be something that draws the attention of the employer towards your candidacy.
That's rich.
So it has a pattern. You must know, start with your identification, which carry your name or whatever. It has to start, you must carry your what we call a coach in French. That's your professional aspiration. You put your profession there. After your identification, you still in your CV, you must carry your training, your academic, and maybe your placement, your internships. Your CV must also carry your professional experience, what you've done.
Yeah.
And then you must put your duration, the post occupied, and your post of responsibility in your CV.
Yes.
And the last one is the miscellaneous, still under the CV. That's what we call it in French, c'est un atout pour le candidat. That is what your other aptitudes, in the CV. And when you come up with this good CV, you must know how to, how to elaborate it. You must not lie in your CV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You must be very, very honest with your CV. The style matters a lot.
Yeah.
Most people, a CV is not an administrative document. So you don't have to put a lot of borders, colors, No, your CV must be simple and, precise and concise.
Yes.
Okay.
So another tips again, how you can secure his job is knowing the job market.
Yeah.
It's
Definitely.
very, very important. Most candidates don't know the job market. We have two types of job market, the open and the closed market. If you don't know where to go, for example, somebody as a nurse who wants to go and look a job as an administrator, or as a lawyer, that's not your job market. And most cases, the job seekers, they don't know that the closed market has 80% of job opportunities.
Really?
They go into the open market.
Yeah.
Why do they go in? Because they see that the offer is made known to the general public. Hey, be very careful. It constitutes just 20%.
Yeah.
You lost it because the competition is very, very high.
Very high.
Whereas in the closed market, you may just go to the enterprise, bam, you just pick up the job. So that's another major tips. And the last tip I'm going to discuss about is interview.
Yeah.
What do you do? That is the final stop. After conceiving a good CV, after knowing yourself, you've dropped the CV in the company, you're waiting for what? An interview. What is an interview? It's a face-to-face confrontation between the employer and the employee. That's the time the employer gets to know the candidate.
Sure.
So what do? We have during interview, we have the post-interview, during interview, and before interview, during interview, and post-interview. So what we teach the candidate before interview, what do? You need to prepare yourself materially.
Yes.
And under material preparation, you need to know what to wear. You need to prepare your documents. You need to know the location of the enterprise.
Oh, yes.
It is very important, yeah. You don't wait for the day, the enterprise, and then the interview, and then you go there, you're panicking. You need to prepare yourself. Psychologically, you need to be positive.
Yes.
Sure.
Definitely.
Most of the job seekers, they are always say godfatherism. No. The day before your interview, be positive. Just say, I'm going to make it. Oh, Obama said, yes, I can. Why
Yes,
not
we
you?
can.
Yes.
Yeah, you can. And you have to prepare all the documents. You have to have a good mastery of your curriculum vitae.
Yeah.
And still before the interview, you have what we call the technical preparation. You need to relax.
Yes.
You need to know, because we have what we call minorities, a model we teach the job seekers. Minority is a situation where the employer puts the candidate in a difficult situation. Mm-hmm. You may fit the profile, but he wants to see how you're going to carry yourself. Mm-hmm. So you need to prepare in case I'm asked a technical question, what do I do? After during the interview, this is the most important moment. During your interview, you have to go there 15 minutes before your interview time. Yes. So you study the place, you get acquainted with the environment, you're not panicking, you're not sweating, Yeah, so you prepare during the interview is the time that you go 15 minutes. And in the interview, that's the time the employer wants to see if you are qualified.
Sure.
So you need to be very attentive.
Yes.
You need to don't be hasty in answering your question. No. Be attentive, listening to what he's saying, and don't open doors for more questions. For example, you are asked, how old are you? Tell us about yourself. I'm Susan Lokumbela. I'm this age. I'm married. I have 5 kids. The last one is 1 year old. My husband is working with taxation. You've opened the door. So you lost it.
It's just too much.
Yeah. And then you don't look at the employer eyeball to eyeball.
Yeah.
Okay, you look at him, you take off your eyes. You look at him, you take off your eyes, because if you look at him, you're trying to intimidate him, So you look at him, you take off the eyes, but don't make as if you're afraid.
Sure.
I mean, you have confidence of yourself.
Yes.
And
self-esteem.
Yeah, exactly. And also your dressing. The dressing is very, very important. Your appearance. We always say the first appearance is very important. The way you carry yourself. Don't go and wear something too flashy, too bogus. You look like the wife of Bat. So you must know what to wear, especially ladies. You know what to wear. And after the interview, that is the post-interview, you must do follow-ups. Don't just sit there and wait for the employer to call you. If they have not called you, you have to go and follow up.
Yes.
And they have and you have to do self-evaluation, so you don't do future mistakes. How did I carry myself in the interview? Was I panicking? Was I, evaluate yourself after interview, and it will help you. I think these tips are, it's a 3-day seminar. We always do this 3 days, but this is just for 20 or how many minutes. So I think,
great, very good.
Yeah.
It's really wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Eric. You're welcome.
So Eric, do you have some other tips for young people? Maybe
no,
just
she said it all, and I just want you to give an example of yourself to our dear listeners. You are not a Cameroonian; you're from Germany, and the GIs that sent you here. Why did you come here in Cameroon?
I came to gain working experiences.
Okay.
So I just finished school, and I'm waiting for university, yes, but I am using my gap year here to work in many different fields. I had scholarships in another radio station in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
I was working with in a hospital. I was working in with a magazine.
Okay.
So I tried all my different opportunities, or everything that I maybe want to become.
Okay.
And I found out that all these things are interesting to me, but I really want to become a teacher. So that's now I've been teaching now for more than 9 months, and I really like it.
Yeah.
So,
and it's part of voluntary services.
Yes.
Wow.
So you have to try the things that you want to do. You have to try them before you decide to do it.
That's great.
Yes.
And I just want to tell our dear listeners that volunteerism is a cornerstone for development. It's a way to find yourself, what you can do, and it's a way of learning from people in the professional field. You have on the field learning. And so one important tip which Madam just mentioned in our show today is that you do voluntary service. In that way, you get to discover yourself, your skills, and you come out alive, and you take the world by storm. So that is very important.
Yes.
So, Franks, you have some...
something else. I don't want to forget our Youth Drive action concerning Rio Plus 20, because just as Madame Loco earlier said, we have to get active, and we want to organize a one-day action for Rio Plus 20. So Youth Drive, Youth Outreach Program, is starting a competition this week for the best idea for Rio Plus 20 action. Do never undervalue the power of small collective efforts, and help Youth Outreach Program with your bright ideas to help your community to develop sustainably.
Correct.
We are talking about employment today. So what are your own ideas to improve on the employment situation in Bamenda? What are the changes that Bamenda needs? And how could we get active? That's our question for today. Send us an email, post your idea on Facebook, on our Facebook site, or visit our office at My One Up Station if you don't have a computer. The best idea will be our contribution to the Global Youth Service Day actions in April, and the worldwide Rio Plus 20 commitments, as well as honored with a special prize.
Yeah.
So listen, it should be a one-day action on the 21st of April, which is a Saturday, including youths from Bamenda, and aiming an improvement of the employment situation in your community.
Sure.
So anyway, be creative.
Oh, thank you very much, Francie. And dear listeners, we are drawing close to the end of our program, and thank you for listening to us. And this show, of course, is Youth Drive, was brought to you by the volunteers of Youth Outreach Program. Like Francie was mentioning, you could send your views about your ideas through our Facebook site, Youth Drive. and drop us an email on the address ydrive08@gmail.com. And if you feel that you want to get more information about the Youth Outreach Program, go to the internet and type www.yopcam.org. Or if you want to send us a letter, we have a postal box address, which is PO Box 5185 Nkwen, Bamenda. And if you want to visit us, come to Mile 1 Upstation, Bamenda Nkwen Road, opposite STV on your right. You'll find Youth Outreach Program.
Yes, and Madame Loco, I really appreciate your coming and contributing to our show today. We hope this won't be the last time for you. It will be a darling wish for us to have you on board some other time again. So now would you like to extend some greetings to loved ones who are listening to you?
I want to greet my director, Mr. Mambo Mbonde, greet my chief of service, Mr. Moma Chifo, my colleagues, my daughter in school, and everybody. I just want to say God bless you.
Yeah, thank you.
And also to Franzi and Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are really honored to have you here from the National Employment Fund. And like Francis said, you will be a darling wish for us to have you next time on board the program.
Oh, yeah.
Dear listeners, this voice is Eric Botiji, and I want to extend greetings to all the volunteers from in Bamenda, especially the GIZ and the VSO volunteers. I want to greet Jessica, our new volunteer from Canada. I want to greet Laura. I want to greet Nina, Christelle, Vera, and Oma Songwe, Patience Agwenjang, all of you at our program. Not forgetting my small niece, Kelsey Flora, and my dad, my mom, Mr. and Mrs. Tamund. Yeah.
Thank you, Eric. Touching. So thank you, dear listeners of Youth Drive, for listening to today to our show about the UN Summit of Sustainable Development, focusing on unemployment. We will be back in the studio next week with another topic called forests, as a continuation of our series about Rio Plus 20. Don't forget, there is always a way to change. That's my message for today. And have a splendid weekend.
You drive on the foundation.
Youth drive
on the younger generation. Have a splendid weekend. Bye-bye.
Okay,
bye-bye.
On the foundation for the younger generation. On the foundation for the younger generation. On the foundation for the younger generation. For the younger generation. On the foundation for the younger generation. On the foundation